Hello, I'm a PS3 and welcome back to the video. So the Ocean Aquatic update was revealed last week and we got so much content in terms of we saw trailers, we saw gameplay, we saw all this different stuff about the footage, and this confirmed a lot of new things coming to Minecraft, most of which Jeb confirmed in that show itself. However, one of the big questions that wasn't answered is, will there be sharks in this update too? We've heard so much about the friendly underwater life that's coming in this update, but have we heard anything about the dangerous underwater life? Well, I think today we actually have a reveal that confirms there will be sharks in this update, and I wanted to share it with you all in today's video. Hopefully you'll enjoy this. You can like it if you do like it, because it helps out the channel out, and let us know you do like these source videos. Again, this is like a mix between news and like the secret feature stuff, because this is kind of a secret that I think Jeb didn't know he was revealing, or maybe revealed so that people could dig into it, because it's something really subtle that once you see it, you won't miss it. But let me just show you one of these steals from the trailer. So if you didn't watch the trailer all the way through, or like Jeb explaining, it was about a 10-minute thing. I'd loaded it on my channel, but basically in there, he actually shows off a bunch of images while he's talking about the stuff. A lot of those come straight from the gameplay he showed, but this one did not come from gameplay at all. It was just fish and water plants, which as you can see confirms there will be the water plants that are confirmed alongside the coral reefs, and then there's what looks to be some fish, and then behind that there is a silhouette of a figure in the background, which presumably would be a dolphin, right? However, there's quite a few issues with this. The first one is that the only place we've ever seen dolphins in Minecraft, in the gameplay so far, they could still spawn in the deep oceans, but so far we've only seen them in shallow oceans towards the surface, playing around with the humans, looking around for humans. So if there was a player character this close to the dolphin, don't you think the dolphin would have come over to say hello? Do you think you could have stayed that distance and it still say that, a shadowy silhouette? So that's the first big one. The second big issue is the fact that there is just the silhouette. At this distance, it doesn't look like this would be real gameplay, so instead, I think it's actually a hint at a brand new mob. And by itself, again, I've heard a few people make that just argument by itself, and I'm not really too fond of it. However, if you then compare the dolphins we have seen, so here is a screenshot of the trailer that I have confirming dolphins and showing you dolphins from two separate angles, dolphins from the front angle and dolphins from the side. This gives you like a full profile of how dolphins have been implemented into Minecraft. And now let's look back at that silhouette figure. As you can see, it looks similar on the surface. It's a big body shape with some, I guess some fins and a tail. But then you realize, and the scale's about right too, but then you realize looking at the fins and looking at the tail and looking at pretty much everything else, that this doesn't match the dolphin that we've seen elsewhere. Because if you look at, first of all, we're going to talk about the fin, the pointing thing at the top. So if you look at the shape of that, that's roughly a rhombus, I believe, like attached to the big shape. Again, it's not important what the shape's called, but it looks like a rhombus to me. And then, you can kind of see how it makes a jaggedy point in the top left of that fin. Again, we're talking about really tiny parts with a really tiny image, but that's what we can see right there. But then if we go back to the dolphin, you can see how from both angles, it doesn't look like that at all. It kind of angles towards the front, not towards the back, and it's more of a trapezium shape. It's been a while since I did math class, but I think that's a trapezium shape instead of a rhombus shape right there. So you can see there is a distinct difference in that, top fin. You can maybe argue angle or something, but then if we look at the back fin, you can see how it again makes this pointy thing like you would expect from a shark. Back on there on the tail, it's got two jaggedy bits going outwards, whereas if we then look back at the dolphin, you can see how there is this like singular looking tail. I mean, it looks like it goes into two bits, but they're next to each other, and in both parts of it, you can see how they're going in the same direction. So it looks like dolphins have one part of the tail, and the sharks have two parts of the tail, that image right there has two parts, which means that that's definitely not the same dolphin we've seen, because you can also then confirm that the body of the dolphin actually gets thinner towards the back, which doesn't seem to match this, and also you can see on the front, the dolphins have the long net, the noses. Like, it's cute, it's adorable, it makes the dolphins look great, as well as something on top of their head. However, again, looking at that image, you do not see either of those things. So there is two possibilities as I see it from here. Again, I always want to make sure I get the skeptic point of view out, that this could just be an older model of the dolphin. He could have taken this screenshot a long time ago, as like it was meant to be like a teaser image on Twitter or something, and then he updated dolphins, and that's why dolphin gameplay looks different to the image over here. However, to me, again, it's not the best of arguments, because you can only see a silhouette there, and maybe Jeb would have realized this big mistake and assumed it would cause some uproar, and you don't want to get people excited about a new feature that then you then don't turn out to reveal. And given that Jeb has been suspiciously not responding to anyone who asks about sharks, I mean, he's not responding to a bunch of people who ask other questions, but he's not responding to anyone who asks about sharks, plus there's the fact that he would have known this was different. It wouldn't have taken long at all to update that tiny black silhouette. I think this was confirming, sharks, and that he wants to reveal them at a later date, or like reveal them only inside the snapshot, because that would add even more excitement. Like, there's so much saturation of like, guess what, we have dolphins, guess what, we have fish. There's like 7 new mobs in this update already, adding sharks as well. It's not something that you can get people quite as on board with, and I think what the actual plan was here is that Mob A was presumed to win the Minecon vote. They specifically didn't tell us about the Ocean update, because if they did tell us about the Ocean update, Mob A probably wouldn't have won, right? That's just a fact we don't know. So, assuming Jeb was either thinking Mob A would win, or thought Mob A had a chance of winning, he didn't want to reveal the shark, because if we have this, that mob of the ocean depths, we probably didn't need the shark too, in my assumption, because as we all know, Jeb's been like like just making the base concepts and working on them after that. So maybe he made this image and like at the last second they had to work out which mob was coming in and which one was going to leave, and because mob A didn't win, they want to have sharks instead. They need to have a threat of the ocean depth, and they can't just throw mob A in anyway because they said they want to throw away the other 3 mobs for some reason. So instead, Jeb is adding in the shark. Again, that theory is really complex. It could just be that this is a teaser, but I think that's the actual theory. Again, that's just my opinion, and either way, it looks like we're getting some form of new ocean mob. It could end up not being a shark, it could end up being a whale, because bear in mind that the shark whale dolphin line gets really blurred with the killer whale. Killer whale, fun fact, I used to really love killer whales as a kid, don't ask me why, but I used to really like killer whales. But a fun fact about killer whales is that they're often confused with dolphins, as well as often confused with sharks, if I'm not mistaken. They have a lot in common with them. Basically, the killer whale is a confusing animal, and the killer whale, if we look one up right now, as I used to draw a bunch of them. Again, this is a weird thing, I used to really love killer whales, but if you look up killer whales, they actually do have a similar body shape to this, and they could, you know, this theoretically could be some form of bottom depth whale. Again, it's not quite the size you'd expect for a normal whale, but if it's a killer whale, then it could be the same height. Yeah, but basically, if it's a killer whale, it probably won't kill you, despite the name, as far as I know, but it would still be a similar underwater threat. So all we can tell from this is there's some new underwater mob, whether it's a new type of dolphin, whether it's you know, a shark, or whether it's maybe, just maybe, you know, as 8-year-old Toy Cat would be happy with, a killer whale. It's going to be some form of new aquatic underlife thing, and unless Jeb made a huge mistake, I think we can expect another mob on top of the 7 we're already expecting, you know, or potentially 8 or 9 we're already expecting. So yeah, this could be one of the biggest updates ever for mobs, which I know would get people excited. So there's another reason to believe this is going to be the best / biggest update yet. I'm super excited. Let me know what all of you think in the comments down below. Do you think this is just a dolphin and I'm just being ridiculous? Because again, it took me a while to really be on board with this one. Or do you just think, yeah, it's going to be sharks. I'm excited for sharks in Minecraft. Alternatively, you could be like, oh no, I want to swim underwater without being attacked by sharks. Well, let me know what you think. Comments down below. Always useful to gauge, again, the community feedback from these sorts of things. And also, please do like it if you liked it, share it if you really liked it. Make sure you turn notifications because I want to give you these little sneaky reveals we get every single time we find them out. And if you let me know you like it, then that's the best way to let me know you want to see more. And the best way to see more, if I do make more, is to subscribe with notifications turned on, because that's the new subscription on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.